Hey, what's going on, guys? So welcome back to another Python tutorial. So I know it's been quite some time that I've posted any Python tutorial. So I've been busy with the CSS crash course and some other projects. So yeah, there's that. So this video would be for the duck typing in Python. So without any ado, let's start this video. Okay, so there's a famous phrase that goes around in Python regarding this duck typing is that if any object walks like a duck and talks like a duck, is basically a duck. Now, the meaning of this is that if any object, irrespective of its class, if it behaves or has a certain functionality that we need, then we need to consider that as a duck. Now, for an example would be if we have two classes. Now, in this case, I have this duck class, which has this quack function and this fly function. And I have here another class, the human class, which has this quack function and this fly function. Now here we have a function which basically takes in a parameter, and we basically check that if this object is basically an instance of duck. Now if this is an instance of duck, then we want to print out the quack function and then the fly function. Now if it is not a duck, then it's going to print saying it's not a duck. Now first up, we're going to make object of this. So let's say a equal to duck and then b equals to human. Now if I call this quack and fly function, and if I pass in a first and then I pass in b, now if we run this, so what it prints is first it prints quack and quack, which is for the object of duck. Now this quack has this, and the second one it prints is the fly function of duck. Now you might have noticed that it hasn't printed out the functionality of human, which is quack and fly. So this is not a duck typing, okay, because it basically checks whether that object is an instance of this, specifically this duck class. Now in duck typing, what basically we see or what we do is that if any object has a certain functionality, then I mean in this case this human has this quack and fly function, then it must be a duck. So we can just remove this, and then what we can do is that we can just write if thing dot quack and here thing dot fly. Now what this is going to do is basically whenever you pass in the argument, the object, it basically irrespective of its class, then it's going to just print out the function. In this case, the human too would have this human.quack. Now let's run and let's see. So now the duck has its quack quack and then its fly function, which is fly with wings, and human has hello hello and fly with arms. So this is duck typing. Now you may think that this might be a bit dangerous in some cases. So for this, what we can do is we use something called as error handling, which I will talk about in later videos. So just for this, you can just think as this. We use try. And so first what it does, it basically will just try out thing.quack, and then it's going to try thing.fly. And now if the object does have these two, then it's going to do this. But if the object doesn't have these attributes, so what it's going to do, attribute error as e and print a. Now when we run it, it's going to run fine. Now let's say we add in here another function, thing.bark. Now since this object, now none of the class above has this function, which is bark. So now when I run it, you can see that duck object has no attribute bark. Okay, so this has no object bark, and so as you can see, so if you have any problem, you can just try this and then you use this, except so whenever it's gonna have or face any errors, it's gonna go and then just print out that on the screen. So this is pretty much duck typing in Python. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something new. So there are a couple of videos on the screen. So I'll meet you there in that video. So thanks for watching. Meet you guys in that video.